What's up, fam, and welcome back to my channel. Thank you all for stopping by the channel. I want to show you some things here. Um, let's start with some current events. So here on the screen, I have the 10 hot consumer trends for 2030. So what you're looking at is a virtual mall. So it says, welcome to the hybrid future where reality is networked. The new predictions from consumers for 2030 have landed. Expect a hybrid mall just down the road where you live, a place where AR glasses, haptic bodysuits, and tactile gloves are available at low cost. A place that can be programmed and adapted to almost infinite number of activities. Welcome to Every Space Plaza. So basically, guys, this thing here, it's a virtual mall. You can actually, when you go into it, here's a model of one, right? When you go in, it's going to have all kinds of stuff: fitness, home, lifestyle, health, leisure, everything, you name it. You'll even be able to have something where you can swim with the stars. So you'll put on a suit and swim with the stars, and you can actually attend a concert with people in other countries, maybe your friends, go into a nature room where you can see animals from the past. And also you can do, they're going to have some type of mental places where you can go in and get mental health with the virtual reality, virtual gyms, virtual restaurants, just all kind of stuff. Even like the nail salon, they said they'll have like nanotech nail polish, which I mean they already have, but I thought this was interesting to show you guys. I mean, it's almost like they're painting another, they want you in another reality. They don't want you in this reality. They want you in another reality. And Facebook is doing something similar as well. All kind of foolishness will be going on in these rooms because some of them are going to be, a lot of them are going to be inappropriate. And you know so much stuff with this. And this is future technology. They've already have some located in different places where people have actually gone and tested them out. Also, here's another one. Rutgers developing anti-terror robots to protect schools, stadiums, and malls. So pretty soon here, you're going to have robots protecting your children at school. That's probably why they do so many lockdowns. And you see in the news, you're starting to see like the school shootings. They just had one like a month ago. Then we had that thing at the stadium with Travis Scott. So you can kind of see the agenda here. So it says Rutgers University is helping the U.S. Department of Homeland Security figure out new ways to protect soft target like sports stadiums, concert venues, schools, hospitals, and malls from terrorist attacks. So it says that they're using mathematics professor Fred Roberts, who is the director of Rutgers Center of Excellence for Engineering Secure Environments from Targeted Attacks, said computer modeling and artificial intelligence AI is being used to improve security protocols on a number of different fronts. So he said, while many venues already use metal detectors to check patrons entering facilities, new procedures are being developed to expand the security perimeter, which means there are people screening you long before you get to the gates. Those may be behavioral screening, there may be sensors, but we're also talking about protecting somebody from contaminating the food at the stadium. He says this includes incorporating the use of scanners that can detect radiological devices and make use of facial recognition technology, but also you're screening for people who might have a vehicle that has something in it that might explode. We're talking about protecting against drones. I ran across another article about some type of killing drones or whatever. I think I'll show that maybe on another video. This is interesting, guys. Let's check out another one. Chip implants from Swedish developers support digital health pass storage under your skin. We've heard about this before. This is something they've been doing over there for a while, but it was updated December 23rd, 2021, biometric, okay? Several thousand people in Sweden have implanted microchips under their skin to give them closer than close access to their digital information, including digital ID credentials. Now, Tech Explorer reports that digital health pass credentials can also be stored on the subcutaneous chips. I think I did a video over a year ago with Bill Gates, and we were talking about how they were downloading all the medical files to this one cloud. And they started doing that back like in 2018, 2019, and then the pandemic hit right after. So interesting. So they developed the chips which can store electronic keys, business cards, public transport passes, and now proof of that's right, your VAX. And I said X on purpose, okay? So pulling up a PDF of your VAX record on his smartphone after scanning a chip embedded in his arm. They say privacy is not jeopardized by the implants. They're not powered and cannot transmit any data by themselves. So you remember I did a video a while ago where I was showing you how they are pretty much, they'll be able to program you. It all be on one big computer system, and they'll be able to program you. A consumer of the company tells Tech Explorer that she feels her personal data is better protected on the chip than elsewhere. Oh boy, technology. We've been talking a lot about technology on this channel, but I'm going somewhere with this, and I wanted to just show you these current events. Okay, let's go here. Hacking bacterial communication for safe and tunable population control. This is bioengineering. This is March 4th, 2020. So this was a year ago, guys. Hacking bacterial communication for safe and tunable population control. You guys remember that video I did where we were talking about the different magnetic programming that they're doing? Okay, so it says we harness the potential of an atypical bacterial communication system to engineer precise single and multi-population dynamics. The idea behind this paper began to take shape a little more than a year ago and a few weeks after the start of my PhD. So this was March 4th, 2020. So she's saying that this happened a year from this date, right? During my first meeting with Jeff, he told me he was interested in expanding our engineering capabilities from single to multiple populations. We talked about building a community with multiple populations which could coordinate their behavior interdependently without talking with one another. To realize this, we hypothesized the use of orthogonal quorum sensing systems, which we would select from the natural abundance of bacterial communication systems characterized in the literature. So, quorum sensing is a term that defines a variety of communication systems based on small molecules that bacteria uses to communicate. Get it. Okay. So, a subset of these systems has been shown to be orthogonal, which implies that the two systems are completely decoupled and don't interfere with each other, even when the cells coexist in the environment. So, I started wondering if this dependency on an external substrate could be used to our advantage to engineer a genetic tool for precise and tunable population control. What? Tunable population control? So we already know that these bacteria are these tunable bacteria, okay? Tunable bacteria, they already have them in certain foods and GMOs, and it will be able to communicate and somehow tune the population. The bacteria is connected to the brain and also connected to other parts of the body. So a lot of times, usually, so if and something is wrong with your stomach, then something's going to be wrong with your brain and your skin and etc. You guys, you got to read this article. It's right here. I started wondering if this dependency on external substrate could be used to our advantage to engineer a genetic tool for precise and tunable population control. Huh? What did we say? War against the grid, war against the human body? This is the article right here. Hacking bacterial communication for safe and tunable population control. You guys, this is the link up here. You can probably just Google this yourself and read the rest of the article. Okay. So, what is genetic engineering? It's a deliberate modification of the characteristics of an organism by manipulating its genetic material. See, one thing about this stuff is that when you're dealing with these sick, twisted Nephilim spirits, they can't make an original, but they have to take from the original. All right? They don't make anything. They don't create anything. They have to take from the original and modify it. Right? Okay. Now, remember the last video I did, I talked about this just a little bit. Biden hails 5G wireless deal, averting aviation safety crisis. So remember we talked about how AT&T and Verizon, they wanted to go ahead and set up the C-band wireless spectrum. That's extra, that'll be like extra radiation, right? in just in layman's terms going out, but you will have faster internet, faster speed, streaming and all those things, right? All this technology, but at what cost? Now, is it a coincidence that all of this is happening when they're talking about hacking bacteria? Okay, now we have this new variant out, and people are dropping down left and right with it. I'm not going to say the name, but you know exactly what I'm talking about. You have this new variant, this new bacteria, this new virus, this new strand that's out, and people are dropping down left and right. Hospitals don't have enough staff. The school, the first days back to school, over 100 teachers called out in one district, over 100. I'm talking with people who have already received, this thing, this VAX, and a lot of them are coming down with this variant. So is this a coincidence that now they're about to release this 5G? They're tuning the population. Then we have all of this going on, all these current events. And then look, we have all these meteor showers. In 2022, now even before 2022, we had so many meteor showers. I've never seen so many meteor showers. Have you? Just in this last year, when we were talking about the stars, we used to see them all the time. Meteor showers, meteor showers. But I don't think we really didn't know. We didn't pay attention. We didn't understand like we know now because we're growing. And knowledge is increasing more. So here we go. The fallen watchers. We've been talking about that from the book of Remembrance. And the first one we have here is Semihaza. He's a meteorite, and I've talked about him extensively, right? All right, let's go back. People all over have been reporting, hearing these, seeing these, all in the East Coast, all over the world. They've been seeing these things dropping left and right, these meteorites. And they hear like sonic booms with them. This was in 2000. So now we have some coming up. We have another one coming up January 16th. We had one just come out the blue January 1st. But if you're interested and you want to see the list for 2022, here they are. Here they are. Look at all these just for this year, guys. It's gradually happening. Let me get into what I want to talk to you guys about today. Let's go. So we looked at all these current events. We see all these meteorites and comets and everything just flying out the sky, right? So let's go here. Growing spiritually. When I was a child, I spake as a child. I understood as a child. I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. That's 1 Corinthians 13, right? Verse 11. And the reason why I put this up is because, you know, when we're growing up and we're maturing, you know, there are things that change, right? And I'm not just talking about from growing from a little child to an adult. I'm talking about when you come into the truth or when you start your spiritual journey, that where you were 5 years ago in your spiritual journey, or even a few months ago, you should always be constantly growing. And with that growth, mindsets change. Maybe there's new learning that's done. A lot of times, some of the things that I learned, even when I first came into the truth, I've grown a lot since then. So I don't hold on to a lot of, or some of the concepts I had. Like, for one, I do not support this notion that the Most High is wrathful, right? And that he's coming to destroy his enemies. I don't support that. And I don't support that because of what I know of him and how I know him and what I know him to be. Now, some may disagree with me, and that's fine. But when you grow spiritually and you sit back and you look at the relationship you have with him, there's some mindsets that have to change and they have to go because you're getting closer to him. You're in his presence. Let's look at this word right here, tribulation. So here is Webster's dictionary. It's a cause, a state of great suffering. Okay, that's tribulation, a cause or a state of great suffering. So here are some synonyms that go with it. Worry. This is all part of tribulation. Worry, anxiety, burden, cross to bear, ordeal. That's tribulation. Because the other day in the video, I mentioned that, you know, we're right smack in the middle of the tribulation. And I had a couple people in the comments down below say that, you know, they had this us against them type of mentality. And they were like, this is not Jacob's trouble. Well, first of all, I wasn't talking about Jacob's trouble. I was talking about tribulation. And I don't know about anybody else, but I'm going through a tribulation. And I'm talking to many other people who are actually going through tribulation. Let's look at H6869 and look at what tribulation means. This is trouble, distress, affliction, adversity, anguish, tribulation, adversary. Now, we can just pull back the layers right now. And how many of you are going under some type of distress? And if you're not going under distress, you know someone that is, and that makes you have distress. It could be your children going through something. My mom, that's distress for me. Then you have the word affliction. A lot of us are under heavy affliction. We're being attacked. And I told you, it's just like that proverb with the frog. You put a frog in water and you gradually turn up the heat, and sometimes they don't even know that they're boiling. But right now, the heat is being turned up, and today we're going to talk about why. Adversity. So when the person made the comment and was like, it's not Jacob's trouble. Come on, you guys. Sometimes we have to lose some of these mindsets, and it's not us against them and them against us, you guys. When you're growing in the spirit, there's some mentalities that have to go. They have to go, you guys. Let's look at G2346. It says trouble, afflict, narrow, throng, suffer, tribulation. Then the last one, affliction, trouble, anguish, persecution, burdened, to be afflicted. The other night, the sisters had to go into warfare prayer because people are under heavy burden. So when I say that we're dead smack in the tribulation, we're dead smack in the middle of the tribulation. And you guys, we have to spiritually grow. And there's certain mindsets that we're going to have to step away from and walk away from. The more we grow and the more we learn who the Father is and his Son. He is a spirit, and we worship him in spirit and in truth. At the end of the day, guys, it's all going to come down to matters of the heart. I was sitting in worship one day, and I was just in thought about some things, and this is what came to me. It's a matter of matters of the heart. That's all it boils down to. It's just going to be matters of the heart. The heart, mind. H3820 says the heart, the mind, the midst, understanding, hearted, wisdom, comfortably, well, considered, friendly, kindly, stow-hearted, care, tender, faint, soft, sober. Then you have the other aspect of it, H7186, stiff-necked, hard, roughly, cruel, grievous, sore-hearted, heavy. Here you have two different aspects of the heart. One that's tender, sober, soft. And then you have the other that's stiff-necked, hard, roughly, cruel. In that video, we talked about the vision that the Most High had and the Son had for everyone when he created them. And for people to come on the channel and make comments like, have this mindset of us against them, I don't promote that on my channel, guys. I had to set up some security measures in place on the channel because we're just getting attacked with a lot of just bad comments, evil spirit comments. And so we've had to put some measures in place. And so if you don't see your comments, sometimes it's not necessarily that I took it down. It's the fact that we had to put some security measures in place. And unfortunately, it is sensitive to certain statements. So if, you don't see it, it doesn't necessarily mean that I had to take it, that I took your comment down. But some of the comments are very inappropriate, and I don't promote hate on my channel. I don't promote racism. On this channel, we love. We love the Father, and we know that blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. The pure in heart. You will see God as he truly is. Those who are pure in heart. You will see the real him. You will know that he's not what he has been portrayed to be, as this vindictive God or wrathful God. God is love, and he that dwelleth in love dwelleth in God, and God in him. And that's 1 John 4:16. This is just a thought that I had. The pure in heart will know the mysteries of heaven. Why? Because you will truly be able to see the true nature of the Father. You will be able to see the true nature of the Father. I remember, as long as I can remember, I would always want, and I know a lot of women will be able to relate to this. I've always wanted people to see my spirit, my soul, see my soul, see me, see my spirit, see my soul. And I was having this conversation with the Most High the other day, and he said, yeah, this is exactly the same way I feel. Just see me. What do you mean, Father? Just see me. I am loving kindness. So we have to grow spiritually. Some of the things that, we have been taught along the way, guys, it doesn't serve us anymore at certain levels of our spiritual growth, you guys. And I'm not saying you knock your core foundational beliefs, no, but I'm saying there's some things that we have been taught that when you grow spiritually, it shouldn't be going with you. So when I say we're dead smack in the middle of a tribulation, we are. And I mean, those current events should show you that. Just see him. Revelations 12. We talked about this before on this channel, right? And war broke out in heaven. Michael and his angels fought with the dragon, and the dragon and his angels fought. But they did not prevail, nor was a place found for them in heaven any longer. So the great dragon was cast out, that serpent of old, called the devil and Satan, who deceives the whole world. He was cast to the earth, and the angels were cast out with him. Now, I spoke about this in a video a few months ago, and I was saying there's a type of writing that they do when, it could seem like it's happening now, but it's really happening then or in the future, or it's a style of writing, right? So a lot of times people would think that this is something that happened already and it's not happening again. And he was cast out to the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. Then I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now salvation and strength and the kingdom of our God and the power of his Christ have come. So this happened after they were cast out. For the accuser of our brethren, who accused them before our God day and night, has been cast down. And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony. And they did not love their lives to death. Therefore rejoice, O heavens, and you who dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and the sea, for the devil has come down to you, having great wrath, because he knows that he has a short time. Now, we talked about this a lot on this channel. Let's look here. Now, let's look in the book of Remembrance of Melchizedek. All right. And the signal horn of Shabuah will alert Michael to assemble his host to act on behalf of Anakseed. Now, Shabuah, Brother Sabal did a lesson on it 2 days ago. So you can go over to his channel, and he broke down what Shabuah was. And if you have the books of Remembrance, you can actually read up about it as well. Okay. All right. So And the signal horn of Shabuah will alert Michael to assemble his host on behalf of Anakaseed, and they will be charged with casting out. Okay, pay attention, everybody. And they will be charged with casting out the evil spirits who are aligned with the sons of darkness from being among the spirits of life in creation. So they're going to be cast out. And there will be no place left in heaven for them to stand. And these spirits will look about and espy the elements of the Derek Kadeshi. And we talked about the Derek Kadeshi. So these spirits are going to see the Derek Kadeshi, right? That have been brought forth by the sons of darkness. And guess what? And they will flee to dwell in them. And the spirits of death will follow them there. And from that time on, all those who depend on the Derek Kadeshi for their lives will be compelled to live with the enemies of their soul. We talked about the Derek Kadeshi and how they've been infused into our lives, right? And here you see that when they're cast out, that's exactly where they're going, these spirits. A few videos back, we talked about all these meteorites and stuff falling from the sky, and we said that they're looking for hosts. And this was confirmed this week for me, right here. I stand in no judgment because, I'm here and, I still use these things as well also. But I think it's important for us to know because a lot of times some of the mindset is, well, it does help me with this or helps me with that. But like I told you guys, everything in creation has a spirit. It has a spirit. And if you look at what this is saying, when these things are cast out and they're here, they're coming to the Derek Kadesh, you guys. That's not good. And in desperation, Semihaza will open up the pit of abyss, and in this way, he will open up the gates of smoke burning. And he went there to see if he could discover some assistance, and found none. And those there hated him with an overflowing rage, and the smoke of burning rose up, and it filled the sky and darkened the habitations of the wicked, and their last hope melted away. I told you guys they were going to turn against each other. I said that. We said that, guys. And this declaration and the sight of all these things open up to mankind the true value of peace and loving kindness. And in this way, when it was too late, wholesome goodness will become known by those who cannot achieve it. And the evil ones repented not, nor would they turn aside from pursuing their evil ways. But for the righteous, the voice of thunder spoke to them of their hope at last. And now with the spirits of death, see, these things come with a spirit of death, guys. And now with the spirits of death being separated from the spirits of life, and the sounds of death cast out from among them, enabling the sounds of life to be magnified. Their hope in Anaka seed was magnified. And they will be endowed with great power from on high to bless the God of heaven. Because here it says, now salvation and strength and the kingdom of God and the power of his Christ have come. See that? These two, they connect. But the wicked fell in utter dismay, and their choices of the face of the triumph of Michael by the clear use of the intervention of their agencies, using the elements of wickedness of the Derek Kadeshi, brought them face to face with justice. And the wicked will begin to revolt against Semihaza and his band. So they're going to all turn against each other, guys. And the prophecies of my father were again poured out, and the rebellious were covered with shame. And what was left of their dominion was in rebellion, and their kingdom began to fail. And their secret acts began to be revealed before all the inhabitants of the earth. And the rebellious were pierced with sorrow, and they gnawed their tongue for pain. And they repented not, nor turned aside from their ways. And vengeance and desperate violence was magnitude among them, and the feelings of their heart waxed cold. And in all these things it can be seen that the day of woe for the wicked was a day of hope for the righteous. So when all these things are happening, guys, they still won't repent. They'll see the truth, but they still won't repent. Now let's go over to the book of Remembrance, the first and second books of Achi. And it came to pass that in those days, the great Michael, who is the prince of Shabuah, stood up, and he beheld that the Der Kadeshi were intermingled among the Er Kadeshi, as they had been since the days of creation, and their filthiness and their unworthiness rose up before his face. And it came to pass that Michael stood forth to declare that the wickedness of the Der Kadeshi had become altogether an abomination in the sight of God of loving kindness. I told you the Most High is loving kindness. And Michael fought during the first four declarations of Messiah to cast them out from being in the midst of the Er Kadeshi. This is what we see here. It's been a process. And thus were Semihaza and 1/3 who followed him after cast down out of heaven from dwelling in the midst of the Er Kadeshi. And their dwelling place became within the lives and hearts of the wicked. And they entered into all those who loved them. All the substance of their wealth and their possessions became the habitation of evil spirits. When they get kicked out, guys, they're going straight into the hearts of the wicked and their technology. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but spiritual wickedness in high places, guys. And they entered into all those who loved them. And all the substance of their wealth and their possessions became habitation of evil spirits. Guys, have you been taking a look at people, their behavior? And they inhabited all the elements of the wicked that was contrived to give them pleasure and the glory of the world. And the Der Kadeshi are the fathers of demons and are the evil spirits of the earth. And all the evil spirits that were restrained by the flood burst forth upon the lives of the wicked. Do y'all hear that? This is why more than ever now we have to stick so close to the Most High. We have to stick so close to the Most High. And I said it in a video before that you guys were going to have to seriously consider lifestyle changes. I mean, this alone right here, guys. We're going to have to make some decisions, and it's going to be hard because, you know, when the children of Israel left Egypt, they were under oppression and stuff, but remember in the wilderness they complained because the lifestyle changed. It was different for them, right? And it's the same thing, guys. They wanted to go back, some of them. You know, I had the opportunity to go and live off grid for a week where there was no electricity. Everything was just natural. The food was all grown, and it was different for me because I've been raised with so much conveniences and technology. But I'm going to tell you something. I suffer with migraines and I suffer with headaches. And that whole entire time that I was off grid, without my phone, without computer technology, and just living basic life, feeding chickens, learning how to drive a horse and buggy, just taking long walks, having candlelight meals because we didn't have the electricity. I had not one migraine, not one, not one migraine. And the righteous, okay, so let's start here. And it came to pass as it and it came to pass that as it is with migrating birds, the Spirit of God entered the souls of Achi and his rib, calling them to a far and distant land. And the voice of the Erekadeshi was in the wind. And they spoke of a land that was fresh and clean before the Lord, who is the God of all the Erekadeshi, notwithstanding from what land they may go. And it seemed to her that it was like unto going back to Eden to be with the mother of the dance. Now it had come to pass, not long before this, that the Spirit of God had wrought heavily upon all the Erekadeshi in the land of Shinar, and the hearts of all the people could not escape the voice of God in the Erekadeshi. Yea, both the righteous and the wicked alike had their hearts and souls penetrated. See? So they're going to see the truth, everyone. And they heard and felt the news as it drifted across the land like the dawning light of a new day. And the righteous began to be stirred in their hearts. For now the hills and the streams and the grass of the fields and even the wind began to feel old and tired, and they together had a leaving feeling. Remember we talked about the call? The call to come out of Babylon, guys. This is what they felt also. They felt the call. The Erekadeshi was calling them. The Spirit of the Most High fell upon the Erekadeshi to call the people out. And if you look here, even on YouTube, you see so many people going off-grid living. The call. But the difference is repentance. And here it is, it said, and they had a together feeling that could not be shaken off, but it grew upon the souls of all men with each passing day. And now it came to pass, the response of the righteous was to make ready and to heed the voices they were hearing. And they began to strike out across the land and thrust their lives into the hands of God, who they knew was in the midst of the Erekadeshi. But the wicked were filled with dread, and they would not disperse until their wickedness was come to full. And they sought to band together to determine what they should do. And thus were all inhabitants of the land stirred up. And it came to pass that nearly one half of all the people were dispersed unto unknown lands, being led by the voice of God in the Erekadeshi. And the wicked who remained, determined in their course, would be to fight against which entered into their hearts from the Lord. See? So when you feel that call, you guys, I want you to understand what it is. That call. And this is the thing where I said in a video a few months back, when that call comes, will you go, or will you be looking back like Lot's wife? Right? A lot of times we think like a angel itself is going to come take you by the hand and lead you out. And, hey, maybe, but maybe not. It might just be a simple call. Will you hear it? Let's look at the Nephilim a little bit. The word Nephilim in Strong is a tyrant or bully, right? That's that bully, the bullying. The word comes from 5307, Nephal, to fall. The I am on the end of the word Nephilim simply indicates the plural. The word giant is included in the 5303 definition, but only because of traditional use. The root word 5307 has no indication to any concept of giant or largeness. From that which I've seen with the Urim, they were not any different in stature than the people of the pre-flood period. So this notion that they're just like huge, and they, like how you see them in the movies and stuff. No, they look like regular people. The later traditions about them being large is understandable, but inaccurate as to their actual size. First of all, the Nephilim were brought about by hunter gatherers, and they had little time to do anything else in life other than to simply survive. And these creatures were a huge imposition and hindrance to such a lifestyle. So traditions arose that it took a gargantuan effort to keep them fed. And these Nephilim were individuals who had no conscience. They had very limited ability to reason, and they were brought into being to be used as weapons against the enemies of their masters. They could not hunt or perform routine tasks that the society they lived in required. Someone had to do everything for them. That was a hardship for those living in a hunter-gatherer society. And the Nephilim were unpredictable and dangerous. They required handlers much like a wild animal. It is true that the fallen angels of heaven had children with human women, and the Nephilim were humans with a human father and mother, but their spirits were only one half human. Their animal spirit came from the Father and was implanted in their souls at conception by the use of a vile sorcery and acts of darkness, used blood as the element of wickedness. This is where the idea that they sinned against animals and birds originated and then was carried into later traditions. So you would have a person, male or female, who had their spirit defined by the spirit of an animal, and their mental capacity expressed the animal spirit that they possess. This dynamic was so completely overwhelming that the ancient societies never forgot them. Accordingly, the Nephilim are widely represented in post-flood religions. So you have a multitude of representations of animal human creatures threaded throughout religious traditions. They are everywhere in antiquity. And here are just a few: the Sphinx, a lion with a man's head, Egyptian god Horus, the falcon head, the centaur, a horse with a man's torso, another Egyptian god, Anubis, a man with an ibis head, and so on. As a matter of fact, I think I saw it was a Gucci commercial or one of these commercials. It was a perfume commercial where they had the horse body and the horse bottom and a man, body. And I was like, look, I mean, they're just promoting it. But it was like a quick shot, then it went away. It was a cologne commercial. So the Nephilim would come upon the earth. So in the end, it was said that the Nephilim would come upon the earth again. Will there again be wars using the Nephilim like ancient times? Well, so far the indicator is that this genetic engineering is focused on making specialized soldiers. It is time for all to put their trust in the Lord, like those righteous of ancient times of old. I just wanted to share this stuff with you guys. So, in the book of Remembrance, I forgot which book. If you guys know down below, I think it may be Achi. Maybe. I think it is, where they list the urgencies. And maybe in the book of Enoch. If you know, guys, can you just type it down below? It talks about the different urgencies. Urgencies mean the different levels of attack on the righteous during this time, right? And it's important that you all understand what's going on, right? And that we're not delusional about what's happening, right? And that you do stay close with the Father, that you continue to grow spiritually, right? Continue to grow with Him spiritually. The Father is loving kindness. He is loving kindness. Thank you all for stopping by the channel. Shalom.